So now since I did the quadratic formula, I know there's a lot of signing going on it, so I want to explain first how to deal with sign in either when you're doing a subtraction or multiplication. So I'm going to start with multiplication first, how to deal with sign with multiplication. So here is my equation. -2 bracket 3x plus 4. So when we have this kind of equation, the first thing to do is to look at the sign. Here we have a negative sign and here we have a positive sign. And we know when negative times a positive is a negative. So to remember, a negative times a positive is a negative. A negative times a negative is a positive. A positive times a positive is a positive. This is something to remember when you want to deal with sign when you're working with multiplication. So since it's a negative, I'm going to multiply with this one. It's going to be -2 times a positive 3x. So it's going to be a -6x. Why? Because a negative times a positive is a negative. So I can do that. And now I have here a negative and a positive. So the first thing to do is to look, the sign. I have here a negative and I have a positive. So my sign is going to be a negative. And I'm just going to multiply the number. And 2 times 4 is 8. That's why I have this answer with negative. Because in class, they're only going to say negative times a positive is. It's just something you have to remember. They're not really going to explain it to you why, but just remember like that. So I'm going to do another one. If I have a -2 times a -2, it's going to be a positive 4. Why? Because we know negative times a negative, like I wrote over there, is a positive. And I'm just going to multiply the number together. So now, when I'm dealing with subtraction, I'm going to do a simple one. 9 minus 4. We all know that 9 is the biggest number, so 9 minus 4 is going to be 5. So now, what if I have a 4 minus 10? So here it's kind of confusing because we have 4 minus 10 and you don't really know what to do. In this case, you first have to look which number has the biggest sign. Over here, my number who has the biggest sign is 10, and his sign is what? His sign is the negative. So since his sign is a negative, you have to subtract. You're not going to add here, but you have to subtract them. So it's going to be 10 minus 4. Since I already put my negative signs over here, 10 minus 4, and it's going to be a 6. And the number I'm going to find over here, that's what I plug over here. And that's exactly how I deal with the sign when we're talking about subtraction. I know sometimes it's kind of confusing, but if you still feel uncomfortable with it, you can show up on the tutoring, and we're going to try to explain it more to you.